To listen to our programs, follow us live on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Aloore Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Aloore Radio. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page on Aloore Radio. Make sure you click on the notification bell so you know when we are live. This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State.
Yeah, good afternoon. You're welcome to Aloore Radio, where we transmit from the GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. I'm Temitope Ojawo. You're welcome to World News. First, the highlights. Oyo Ministry of Information usher in New Year with prayers. Fagbemi read riots of active political parties. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the Appropriation Bill 2023 totaling 21.83 trillion naira. And on our foreign side this afternoon, we have USA's COVID test for China travelers based on science. Now the news and details. Speaking at the signing of the 8th and final annual budget of this administration, the president said the aggregate expenditure of 21.3 trillion naira is an increase of 1.32 trillion naira over the initial executive proposal for a total expenditure of 20.51 trillion naira. President Buhari explained that the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act will enable the administration to respond to the havoc caused by the recent nationwide flood in the infrastructure and agriculture sectors. He also said the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning will subsequently provide more details of the approved budget and the supported 2022 Finance Act. Detailing his decision to sign the 2023 appropriation bill into law, as passed by the National Assembly, President Buhari claimed it was to enable its implementation to commence without further delay, considering the imminent transition process to another democratically elected government. He, however, directed the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to engage with the legislature to revisit some of the changes made to the executive budget proposal, expressing the hope that the National Assembly will cooperate with the executive arm to government in those regards. He urged the National Assembly to reconsider its position on its proposal to scrutinize the federal government outstanding ways and means of balance at the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The new year was ushered in with interdenomination prayers by the staff and management of the Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, asking God for mercy, blessings and protection. The interdenominational prayer held on Tuesday within the ministry premises had in attendance the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Oyeshola Oyedele, the directors, deputy directors, and other staff of the ministry. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Mr. Oyeshola Oyedele, charged all the members of staff to assess their last year performances at work and put in more effort in this new year. He urged the staff of the ministry to exhibit a high level of professionalism in their responsibilities in view of the ministry's strategic and significant role in the development of the state. He called for continuous support and cooperation of the directors and staff in projecting the programs, activities and achievements of the present administration in the state to all the nooks and crannies. He, however, warned staff against lateness to work or closing at inappropriate times, urging them to show commitment to work at all times. He therefore charged the staff of the ministry to be diligent, dedicated, devoted, committed, and work assiduously to reciprocate the government gesture of prioritizing workers' welfare. Prayers were offered for the progress of the ministry, management, staff, and the state at large. As political activity intensified across the country in readiness for the 2023 general election, the executive chairman of Oyo State Road Transport Management Authority, OTMA, Mogaji Akifagbemi, has issued a standing warning on behalf of the government of Oyo State to all political parties to play according to the extensive road traffic rules and regulations as enshrined in the Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority Law 2009. This was contained in a statement personally signed by the automobiles and made available to newsmen at the administrative headquarters of the authority, State Secretariat, Agodi in Ibadan, on Thursday, 3rd of January, while inaugurating a special monitoring squad headed by himself to monitor and mitigate the effect of political activities on free flow of vehicular movement across the PCT states. You may recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) Adele issued the electioneering timetable for the 2023 general elections and marking the commencement of campaign for 28 September 2022 to 9th March 2023 and the date of election slated for 25th February 2023 and 11th March 2023 for presidential, national election and also governorship, state houses of assembly elections respectively. On a foreign this afternoon, China has seen a soaring numbers of COVID illness since it abruptly ended the policy of zero cases following rare public protests over sweeping lockdowns. The United States said on Tuesday that the requirement of COVID tests for travelers from China was based on science and due to Beijing's lack of transparency on surging cases. China earlier on Tuesday denounced the measure taken by a number of countries on its travelers as unacceptable 2 days before air passengers 2 years and older will be required to show a negative COVID test to enter the United States. The measure are very public health concern that undergrade them due to the surge of COVID-19 cases in the PRC and the lack of adequate and transparent epidemiological and virogenic consequence data being reported from the PRC. Press reiterated that the United States was ready to share its COVID-19 vaccine with China, which has heavily promoted overseas its own jabs that international health experts say are less effective. China has seen a soaring number of COVID illness since it abruptly ended the policy of zero cases following rare public protests over sweeping lockdown. And that has brought us to the end of the bulletin for this afternoon. But before I go, the highlights once again. Oyo Ministry of Information ushers in New Year with prayers. Fagbemi read riot acts to political parties. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the Appropriation Bill 2023 totaling 21.83 trillion naira. And on a foreign side this afternoon, we've brought to you the USA's COVID test for China travelers based on science. And finally, we've come to the end of our bulletin for this afternoon. Join us tomorrow at the same time where you shall meet another set of a colleague. Till tomorrow, I say bye for today.
SafeMusicList.com. Royalty-free music for marketing and promotion videos.
Different people's ways. I was born where the sun never sets and never rises. I was born where the heat is like a second skin. Children crying on the streets, automobiles are making noise, the land is growing dry and weak, spirits dying low. The forefathers are calling me a never tire, never weaken, the pride in me is bursting loose, an African boy. On the farm, my father called me down behind a tree. He said, prostrate at my feet and say a few prayers. Then he told me all the stories of my brave ancestors. Said, look into my eyes, son, you were born to be great. So in the twilight I went home behind my father with a hoe, listening to the songs of birds. Whispers of the night I was singing, 7 goats, 7 beats, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains in the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. I'm an African boy. In the evening, mother called me down into her heart. She said, lay upon my bosom and say a few prayers. Then she told me to go forward, never looking back. The spirits are with you and you will never fail. So I go into the world, into the deeps, into the wild. In the marketplace I dance, the sound of bata dancing. 7 jumps, 7 wriggles, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains and the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. I'm an African boy. Seven goats, 7 beats, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains and in the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. I'm an African boy. Said I can feel it deep in my soul. 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. I can feel it deep in my soul. This African boy. I can feel it deep in my soul. The future will be nice. 7 goats, 7 jumps, 7 wriggles, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've known. I want you walk me dancing over sea, over land, over mountains in the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. 7 jumps, 7 wriggles, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains in the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. I'm an African boy. 7 goats, 7 beats, 7 carries, 7 nuts, 7 lives, that's what I've got. I'm an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains in the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong. I'm an African boy.
bring you everything from breaking news,
President must know that this is a bad time for our nation. We must look for foreign support to save this nation.
world news, sport, music, and many more. To listen to our programs, follow us live on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Aloore Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Aloore Radio. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page on Aloore Radio.